Hello, good morning, good morning. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the London session stream. See all systems go here. Yeah, so we got Freaky Friday today. So always on Fridays, you know, we just like to relax on Fridays. Just watch PA on Fridays. You know, we're heading towards the end of the month here too. So, you know, just be careful of any kind of whips that you might see. See, introducing table view for seasonality charts. You can now explore seasonality data in a clean table format with color highlighted monthly changes. Oh, this is like that COT thing. CTO. Whatever you call it. Whatever you call it. Alright, so you got a range here. That's like a 60 pip range. Daily time frame is down already 0.18%. I see somebody already caught a nice little sell-off over here. You know, well done, well done, well done, well done. Oh, this is Derek. Yeah, I was watching this trade play out. I was watching this trade. I was like, oh wow, like gold looks like it might just reverse here. Also got like nice little I think this was a reversal confirmation pattern. Broke above a key high and then started accumulating, and then, you know, price came down. Yeah, this is an excellent trade. You had clean range down towards like 37.42 as well. Pretty straightforward chart. Don't even need markings to kind of get the idea what's going on here. Awesome. Got another buy here. This on the 1 minute. Little clean ranger. Looks like a accumulation breakout. Little head and shoulders play. Little clean range on the 5 minute too. That looks more like it played off a 1 minute entry. Today, so many fake outs, not easy at all. Yes. Yeah, markets actually, I haven't looked at the charts, but we're gonna look at the charts here. We're gonna look at the charts. I haven't really looked at the market yet. The only thing I was watching was this. Oh, now we got candle close below support there. Yeah, the only thing I was watching was this play all the way up over here for gold to come down. Didn't have too much SMA confluence there too. Kind of like trading against that 8 SMA, but you know, PA is king at the end of the day. Let's see on the 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute, just as I thought. 1 minute consolidation reversal play. That's what happened. That was a confluence for that move. Very nice. Remember to send in your chart work, everybody. I think it's quite important to send in some chart work. Remember, in trading, no one is going to ever hold your hand. You need to have some kind of like, you know, accountability. And I think when you send in some chart work here, you know, you get that accountability going. You know, you send in a chart and you never know, you might learn something new. 6.9 millimeter iPhone 6. So 5.6 millimeter iPhone error. Oh, barely a difference there. Index funds are great. Index funds are stupid. Yeah, just start off the day with some light. But dad, my teacher said war is bad. That's because they didn't invest in Lockheed Martin, son. What Johnny Depp movie? Johnny Depp movie is this? This is the one where he was a teacher? I don't think so. Good morning, Woods. Good morning, Ellie, Ricardo, Benedict. Good morning, guys. Got Woot in the chat. How Intel's 28 billion pledge left an Ohio town in limbo. This was the exact thing we spoke about yesterday. Like how people hesitate in the market. You know, like how you can have your setup, like price will come into your setup, but you won't do anything about it. You won't do anything about it because, you know, that's when you start to second guess yourself. And the moment it starts to go up, that's when you're like, damn, I missed the trade. So this is exactly this psychology over here. Please give me a dip. I need this stock in my life. Stock price negative 10%. It's dumping. I'm not buying that trash. It goes up and then you play the victim. Classic retail behavior, or like usually when people are learning how to trade, that's something that happens quite a lot. That's why you say, that's why I'm trying to say, guys, like, you know, send in some charts, you know, start taking some kind of accountability. Like some of y'all need to start already putting some skin in the game. You know, you have to go, don't dip your toes in the water. You need to jump in the water. If you want to learn how to swim, you got to get in the water. You know, like sometimes you got like, at least, you know, we got some people who are posting here all the time, and you know, that's pretty good as well. But if you don't jump in the water, you're never going to learn how to swim. But it gets comfortable. The problem with that as well, it gets comfortable. You get comfortable and you get docile, and then you end up not doing anything, or you just end up taking a lot longer to do something that you should have started a longer time ago. So it's just like a waste of time. You know, that's the whole thing about TFX. You know, we're an education first company. We don't promise fast profits. I'm here to mold you guys into the people you need to be profitable traders. You know, because if you just take one trade today and you don't know why that trade has been taken, you don't know of how you can replicate that for yourself, you know, what's the point? There's no point then. It's like basically watching Netflix. You might as well just watch, like, you know, some kind of a TV show. But you have to have some kind of practicality going on. That's how we learn, by doing. COMEX gold futures consolidation phase is in play. See, gold futures consolidation phase in play. Thursday's narrow body candlestick pattern on the daily chart shows that the commodity's momentum was neutral during the session. The precious metal undergoing sideways movement. The consolidation nation with 3,800 an ounce remaining the immediate resistance level. If gold rises above the immediate resistance, market sentiment would improve and the bullish trajectory would resume towards the next resistance at $4,000. Yeah, that's the target for me as well. $4,000 by the end of the year, at least by this quarter, this new quarter that opened. See, gold prices eased to $37.40 per ounce on Friday, nudged lower by a rising US dollar after stronger than expected economic data tempered expectations for the Federal Reserve rate cut ahead of key inflation report. Oh yeah, we got the core PCE today. Investors are now focusing on the PCE price index later today, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. All right, so that's the reason why price has been coming down. Meanwhile, gold safe haven appeal was reinforced by fresh tariff threats, with President Donald Trump announcing plans to impose tariffs from October 1st, including 100% on imported branded drugs. Imported branded drugs. 100%? Wait, what? Trump announcing plans to impose tariffs from October 1st, including 100% on imported branded drugs. What is that? How do you tariff 100%? 25% on heavy duty trucks, 50% on kitchen cabinets. Oh, wow. Man, that's gonna make business quite difficult there. 50%? 30% on upholstered furniture. Man, that's crazy. You pay 50% of that, and then you gotta pay tax after that, then you're left with nothing. But you know, 100% on imported branded drugs. I think this is because what I would assume is trying to fight the drug problem, the drug epidemic in America. Most of that, they say, comes from China. Is fueling this whole fentanyl crisis in the country. So I think he's trying to... And it obviously comes in like this. Trying to like bring those things down. Bring those levels down. Yeah, 100%. 100% is crazy. Where can I see verified P&L? Just go into the description box over here. Here's my spreadsheet. And then you can also use this links here on the right hand side. And I think you're going to see everything there. Yeah, for gold to come up, probably needs to break above resistance here by 37.45. And then we can start moving up bullish. Let's see, swept Asian high. Yeah, looks like it. We came right to the Asia high. Took Asia high out. Oh, another confluence. Damn. Yeah, this is such a beautiful trade. This trade over here, man. We swept the Asia highs. You got reversal confirmation. Reversal consolidation. Reversal pattern. Kind of like a swing entry model confirmation there. And I guess a shotgun once this candlestick closed. And price broke the previous candlestick lows. Also got like a nice little shotgun there. Yeah, there. I think, man, that was your trade. That was your trade for Friday. So now if you end off the week here like that, you can come in next week with a fresh mentality. You know, so I think it's pretty nice. Hey, Mr. Rashid. Good morning. Good morning. Setting targets for next quarter too. Yeah, next quarter should be good. Next quarter should be good. Especially with these rate cuts, you know, that's why I'm saying that. That price is going to keep moving up potentially here. But we're already so close to 4,000 though. Look at this. From this monthly highs, we just need to push up another 2,000 pips. Yeah, we can easily do that. Let's see. Hello, Tetra. Do you do live Zoom so that we can watch a no latency? Yeah, exactly. We got live Zoom over here too. Currently in a call. No latency on Zoom. I think YouTube has like, you know, 10 seconds or something. So I'm in the future. You're 10 seconds behind. Seconds behind, which is kind of wild because when the astronauts went to space, they said during the Apollo mission when they went to the moon there was like a 5 second delay, and here we are on Earth on YouTube and we got 10-second delay. Doesn't make any sense. That Apollo rocket had less technology in it. Your phone has more technology than that spaceship did. But you guys want to see the goofiest thing? Look, this was the takeoff. You know, because some people believe the moon landing was fake, right? So this is such a goofy takeoff. Like you see, this is the crap that they were feeding us. Look at how goofy this looks. Like how do you take off a planet like that? That does not make sense. Where's the fire? There's no fire, there's nothing. This thing Look at it. Like I get it has low gravity than Earth, but I don't think it's this low. Yeah, that's so funny. It kind of looks like strings are pulling it up. It took literally zero effort to get off the ground. I don't know, it looks so goofy though. That looks so goofy. It looks like a balloon that's just going up. The background looks weird too. Yeah, you know, the moon is not really a nice environment there. Like if they were in the shadows, they could freeze to death. It's like minus 200 degrees. And then what else? Sol is getting hit by meteorites. And not only big meteorites, you also got these things called a what do you call them? Mini meteorites, like small stones moving super fast through space, also hitting the surface of the moon. So it's insane that they were there for like I think the mission, if I'm not mistaken, was about 3 days. They were there for 3 days in some crazy conditions, and they survived. Not only that, they also survived through all the radiation in space. It's kind of a wild story. Space race, Russia, US. But I think like if we ever go to the moon again, we're probably gonna do it like I don't think humans are gonna go through it because it doesn't make sense. There's lots of radiation out there, and probably like if you look at someone like Elon Musk, man, Elon Musk does everything that makes sense that company is in line to go to the moon. You know, he makes electric cars because there's no fuel on Mars. You're gonna need electric cars. He makes robots. These robots he's designing, those are the ones which are gonna create the civilization there. He's got the robots for space travel. He's got the tunnels. You know, also the Boring Company. The Boring Company, the whole idea behind that tunnel was also as a project to build tunnels on Mars. You know, because the upper atmosphere is also quite aggressive. So it's also a bit like the Boring Company building tunnels. Yeah, I think like everything Elon does is always like kind of in line with that project that he wants. Because you know, when you look at billionaires think 50 years ahead. They think, you know, most people we think maybe like, you know, 5 years. Most countries think about like maybe 10 years. They have like 10-year projects. But these types of people, they usually have like 50-year projects. Tetra, do you think you can be a profitable trader when you trade two different strategies? For example, breakout and support resistance stuff. Yeah, I think so. Like I have a few plays. So I trade support or resistance. So that's one thing that I play. You know, it's kind of like the Boring Company over here, because like everything is all lining up to one outcome. Correct. So for me, I got a support resistance play. You got support here. This is like a shotgun entry model. If you stay onto the stream, then you can understand what these entries actually are. But we got a shotgun entry model here. We also got a swing entry model, which is kind of based off support and resistance. And at the same time, we have an accumulation breakout, which is not based off of support and resistance. So I have several or a few ways to get into the market like that. Like accumulation plays are just based off volume. And then these other plays, swing entry and shotgun entries, they're more based off of like support resistance. So you see, we got market here moving from point A down towards like point B. You guys see that new thing that NASA was now signed? Trump recently signed a, I don't know what you call it, but he signed something that now makes NASA a spying company. Google it. It's quite crazy. And so much happens in the world that people don't even know. NASA has now been declared a spy agency. Yeah, so look at this. We're just consolidating here. We have a no trade zone. The only thing that you're going to look for buy is if price can break above resistance, and sell if price can break below support, like 40 pips below there. Привет. Привет, explorers. Как твои делашки? Как дела? Tetra, how do you get access to Zoom? All the links are in the description box. Send you a link here. What do I think entry for gold will be like? Currently a buy. Okay, I think like a buy would be nice, but let's see on the daily. Haven't done the HCF analysis. Alright, so we got price came down, created a support, created a bottom wick there on the daily time frame. Oh, it's kind of like squeezed up here. It's kind of squeezed up. Look at this. We got a support area here, and we got resistance here. It's kind of squeezed up in this consolidation. So for me, this doesn't look good because, you know, we have like wicks. Also look at the wicks that are forming. It looks like price is about to spin. It's stuck in a consolidation. So it's probably at a point A right now. It's gearing up. Something similar like, you know, what happened here. Back over here on the daily time frame. Similar thing like that. That's happening currently here. So it's getting ready for another move. That's why I think, when's this new quarterly opening? On next week, Tuesday, we get the new quarterly candlestick open up. So it's probably gearing up for some kind of a continuation, I would imagine. But this will be the point A. This is where you're going to see price distribute from. So we're going to wait and see what happens here now. See on the daily time frame, 4 hour. 4 hour looks nasty. You can see a bunch of wicks over here. It's not really looking too good there on the 4 hour. Let's see, 1 hour. Yeah, same thing with the 1 hour. You can see consolidation. It's getting ready for a big move. You got resistance up over here. You can remove some of these lines. You got resistance up over here. You got support down over here. And price action is just moving sideways, chopping up quite a bit. Look at the previous hourly here. Took out previous hourly highs, pulled down, took out previous hourly lows, pulled up. Lots of choppiness. Look at this. Broke below support over here also, and then started pulling back up again. This is like shock in the water for sure. Makes sense, you know, towards the end of the month, you can expect something like this. That's what we had in our last simulation. So yeah, just like navigating it's the most important. Oh, this was nice. Nice little confirmation here on the 30 liquidity grab for price to move up, clean this range. Price came up, had a reaction back into the gulag, retest the entries, and then have that same reaction again back upwards. It's like a cycle basically. So that will be a move for next week. Yeah, I think so. You know, we got NFP next week as well, so the market can consolidate next week to up until the non-farm payrolls. It's a rough mornings. I lost way too many with faulty SL. Ooh, sorry about that. Yeah, you see, like if you focus on taking less trades, you're also gonna reduce the amount of errors. You know, the amount of errors that you're gonna receive. Just focus on just proper execution. You're taking more trades, you're gonna kind of get flustered. You know, sometimes you get flustered and then you make these mistakes. You kind of overlook certain things. So it's important to give yourself a break. You know, if you take one trade a session, then you're going to take yourself another break. Just reduce the amount of errors, potential errors that you can make too. See what happens here. Price moves up because it already swept these lows down over here. So this would be like, you know, a paper trade. How many trades do you think a beginner should take a day? I think a beginner should take a lot of trades, like 5 trades, you know, a day, but only take 1 or 2 trades on a real account. And then for the rest of the trades, just do it on a demo account. Correct? So you can maybe even do like one trade a day on a real account, looking for the best possible entry that you don't second guess yourself. The best possible entry that is the cleanest, gives you confidence, but it might take you time to build that strategy. You know what I mean? Like a beginner wouldn't really know exactly what they're looking for, what determines what is clean and stuff. But that's why the whole idea is that you reduce your risk, because you are going to pay tuition fees as a beginner. You know, so you're going to risk, like I used to risk personally 0.5%. Some people, that's not interesting to them. Some people, they want to risk 5%, 10%. They want to chase things, chase market, get rich quick. You know, I never used to do that. I used to risk 0.5%. That's a boring way, but it works. You know, you're going to keep your tuition fees lower. As I say, I spend more money on courses than I did in the market because I'm naturally an inquisitive person. You know, I chase more education before anything else. So I kept my risk low. I would suggest the same for you if you can do this. 0.5% and stick to 1 or 2 trades a day. If you see 0.5%, you can take 2 trades a day. You know, that's fine. If you're taking 1%, then you could do like, you know, 1 trade a day as a beginner. And then the rest of the trades are kind of like you're figuring out trades. You're just going to try new things, see how it reacts, see if you feel comfortable with those ideas. And then maybe slowly, as you start to see something happen over and over again on those trial trades on a demo account, you're going to start like executing it now on a live account. You know, it's the same thing I did with my impulsive, my consolidation plays. I used to watch it. I was paper trading it for months, you know, and then after a couple of months there, I started executing on it, like on my live account properly. It's a game of survival trading. It's more than anything else, you know. That's why Warren Buffett says the #1 rule is not to lose your money, right? It's all about survival. So look at this. If you end today at a break even or a managed loss, it's not a break even or managed loss. You've proven to yourself that you can survive. That's the whole idea behind managing risk. You know, so ending a day at break even or a loss is not an L. You've proven that you can survive. But you see this, guys, if you want to join TFX, please don't join it seeking get rich quick schemes, because people who do that, I can 99% tell you they're not going to make it. 99% I can guarantee you're not going to make it. This is just going to become like a thing that you tried. So if you truly want to learn how to trade, you know, and you want to build your character, build your psychology, then this is a place for you. That I think, you know, you're going to be in this in the long term, because we on a daily basis, we're competing with the highest level people. You know, the market is an area where super smart people are involved. We're all trying to make money, and it's not a place for people who chase shortcuts. They'll get roasted in this market. So that's just the truth. You know, and I was fortunate enough to understand that when I first started trading. So that kind of already put me on the right path. And it's just because I'm conservative by nature. So you know, we kind of want to move correct. We don't want to move fast. We want to move correct. Because if we move fast, we're going to have to come back and do it again. It's going to cost us twice as much. It's going to cost us time. And it's going to cost us money. You know, that's what we're trying to avoid. Risking 1% is good for you? Nice. Yeah, make sure it's like not too little that you don't care, but not too much that you're overly invested in the positions. Oh my god, just woke up. What the heck is happening? The market is chaotically choppy. Hey, good morning, good morning. Yeah, it's choppy there on the higher time frames. Even here, you can kind of see the choppiness. You can see like the swings, boom, 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 swing, break above the high, come down, swing, break below the lows, come up here, swing, break below, swing back into the range, come down here, break below support, swing back up. So you see, that's why like the middle area is usually kind of like the safest, right? Because if it's breaking above resistance over here, then it should keep going upwards. It should keep going upwards towards the highs. Because now you're in the middle of it. They say the meat of the move is in the middle of the ranges. See, best advice, my trading has improved just doing 2 a day. 2 a day rewards are better because I'm not being impulsive and waiting for easy setups. Oh, wow, amazing, yeah. You're gonna reduce your stress. You're gonna enjoy it better. You're gonna enjoy it more. Because, you know, like, if you don't take pride in your chart work, then how can you have pride in what you're doing? You know, like if I go to a tailor and I want a good suit, I'm not going to go to a tailor who's just like, you know, chasing money all the time. I want to go to a tailor who has pride in his craft. You know, he takes more pride in his craft than even before the money comes. Because, you know, that tailor, the money is a byproduct. He's going to have all sorts of people come to him so they can get their suits from that guy. You know, and they're willing to pay him even more because he takes pride in his work. So the market's the same way. You take pride in your work, the market's going to be willing to pay you more. It's going to say, you know, this guy right here is a disciplined guy and I like it. I like his discipline. I like his discipline towards trading. So you get paid more. Quality over output or quality over quantity. And you know, like tailors like that, they're not going to have too many clients, right? They will just have like, you know, a select few of clients. They're going to do a few pieces here and there, you know, maybe 1 or 2 trades a week. But guess what, man, he's working smarter because those 1 or 2 suits he's going to make, those suits are going to pay him way more than the other guy who's just doing majority of the quantity, you know, so he can really like upsell him. And that's how your account's going to grow as well. You see people who trade like, oh, making like 50K a week, 20K a week. See, they're getting to a point where even taking less trades is paying them more. Because trust me, if you're making 50K a week, you will not be taking as many trades as you did when you were trading a $500 account. And the idea is like, how can we get you from here to here? From $500 mindset to 50K mindset. This is the leap that you have to make. It's not a monetary leap. It's a psychological leap. Because psychologically leap this and then understand the value of this, then you know the money is going to follow you. So you're not going to chase the money. Like that ever elusive carrot. You see that picture of the person chasing the carrot but never gets the carrot? You see, you're going to have to make the money chase you. Because people who make money, they don't chase money. Money is a magnet to them. So we have to already have the psychology whereby money can be attracted to us. You know, it just starts with the little things. A little bit of discipline here. A little visualization there. A little bit more organization here. And then slowly but surely, you build that momentum. And you know, momentum is key. You have to keep that momentum on. Because a lot of people, they're going to have a hard time in the market. And they're going to take like, you know, a month break off. They're going to go on vacation for a month. 2 months, you know, say, oh man, I needed this. But you need the momentum. When a rocket is flying out of the atmosphere, it doesn't stop halfway and says, oh, I need a break. You know, it has to keep going. You need that momentum to break through. Oh wow, look at this. Now it's becoming a fake out. Might create a resistance here. Didn't even break the previous highs. Candlestick didn't even break the previous highs. My tailor is absolutely obsessed with his suits. He started making me interested in fabric. Oh, nice. Yeah, you're gonna tell like people who are passionate about their job. You go to a good dentist, you know, a good dentist is gonna want to teach you things, gonna tell you about things. A bad dentist who just wants the money, you know, the quality is not going to be as good. They're going to say, oh, you need this, you need that. Or like a good mechanic, you know, someone looking at your car is going to like tell you about your car and stuff like that. But a shitty a mechanic will always just try and squeeze you out of everything, you know. They're just functioning off quantity. But, you know, it's like, it can work depending on how you approach certain things. Like, you know, Toyota does pretty well with quantity. They make a ton of Toyotas. Make a lot of money. But quality, if you want like a special kind of car, you're going to spend a lot more money, but there's not going to be a lot of them. I allowed myself 3 to 5 years to start getting profitable. I'm 1 year and 8 months in and been profitable for at least 5 months now. I would say that's been quick, but not rich yet, still scaling. Let's go, Woods. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. I also gave myself a timeline of like about, you know, 5 years. Somewhere around there. And it just works out. Sometimes it works out faster for some people. Looks like it might be doing liquidity spike below here. Previous candlestick lows. Grab them orders and then close above. See if price can keep moving there. Let's see. Last trade of the week. Just annoyed. Got faked out so many times today. So much work for 0.8% up. I tried small win. I knew that zone would be tricky, but I don't want to take drawdown. Oh, nice. Because it did pull it down. This is an awesome opportunity this week. Awesome opportunity for everybody to, you know, look back at the trades and think about how they could have done something different next time. So, you know, you're going to take this weekend off to really go through the content that's on the WAP database or even on the YouTube channel. And then see if you know, you're going to test yourself. You're going to test yourself, see if you truly understand what's being said. More than just the words, but what's also not being explained words-wise, but visually. And if that makes sense to you, then, you know, at that point, I think some things are going to start to click. Hey, what's up, Derek? Good morning, good morning. Saw that nice sell. See, do it fast and you'll pay it with money and time. Basically, your life brutal. Yes. I did get my 10K challenge and payout invest in 100K with had 3%, and now this morning lost way too much. Mine's 4% now. Trading is hard. It is hard. It is hard. Hardest way to make easy money. You know, the hardest part is waiting. That's the hardest part for most people, is controlling that emotion. You know, it's like when you take a loss or something, that controlling that emotion is the hardest thing. To take a break and give yourself time to calm down. You know, and not having risk management rules makes it even harder, because, you know, any day you can lose 2%, 3%, and not, you know, if you don't have the risk management rule, that makes it so much harder, because you don't know like when to stop as well. And there's some times where I can take a loss. Oh, nice. Sorry, break above again. Take a loss and you quickly want to try and make that loss back. Hey, good morning, Kevin. Tried doing overtrading last night and lost $200, and today Toyota. Oh fuck, your car up? You mean a Toyota hit your car? Man, sorry about that. That's the thing. That's the thing, right? It's like now when you start this trading journey, it's gonna be an additional thing upon like your usual daily activities, right? So now you have to have like some kind of an extra baggage on you, which is trading is like an extra baggage. So it can make your good days amazing and it can make your bad days like frustrating. So that's why we can't try to look at it from a stress-free approach. Like, how can you manage this so it's not gonna be emotionally draining for you? You know, so you gotta give yourself out of a day, maybe, because if you're working a 9 to 5, right? Maybe quite a busy life. If you can have a few hours in the day that you're free, those should be going to trading. You know, any sort of hour that you can crumb some kind of trading activity, not necessarily trading itself, but even education, then that should be invested there. Just slowly working on your psychology to be more disciplined. Because if you already start right now with just taking 1 or 2 trades per day, that's already a good step. You know, because the rest of the time you can focus on education and just watching the market. Paper trading, you know, paper trading, thinking, you know, what would I have done in this scenario? Would I have lost money? Would I have made money? You know, it's a highly underrated skill, paper trading. When I learned about paper trading in 2020, it was not such a popular thing. Like, it was only in a certain community that they were talking about these things called paper trades. Because before that, I didn't know what a paper trade was. It was like, you either take a trade or not, right? But actually, you can do paper trades. You don't have to take the trade. Even now, TradingView, I see, has paper trading competitions. You know, that never used to exist before. So it really shows you the value in not only backtesting, forward testing, but also paper trading. Got monk mode. Yes. Gotta get in monk mode. How much range does it have here? Like about 24 more pips. Do I look at XAU Euro? Nope. I would look at gold versus the dollar. I don't think it... Gold versus Euro, I've never actually looked at that chart. XAU Euro. Also moving up here. I just trade gold spot. Ooh. It sometimes moves a lot better than USD. Sometimes, maybe sometimes, because again, not one instrument can move like perfectly all the time. But if you kind of like, you need to also see a way that it's not jumping too much in between instruments. You know, like for me, gold, it never disappoints me. Like gold just never disappoints me. It's always moving. Gold can always give you some kind of a move. And if it's not giving you a move, then it's just a day that's going to be a no trade day. But I think if there's one instrument that you can rely on, is gold spot. GJ, you can't rely on GJ. You're going to get caught in a lot of this noise. But you see with gold, the economy always needs reasons to you know, move around, to move money. If you look at where our economy is, like we're always going to need wars. We're always going to need some kind of a drama over there. Because that's how we can move money. That's how the rich get richer. That's how they manipulate the world order. So we're always going to have wars. We're always going to have some kind of problems and drama. So gold is directly tied into that. You know, so it's always going to be moving. But you see something like GJ. GJ is like more politically, like it has more to do with politics of these countries. Pound and yen. Right? So as you can see right now, there's a whole indecision in that whole market. Like the yen is going through a crisis right now. It doesn't want to hike its rates. the yen is usually cutting rates because there's a lot of foreign money that comes into the market when their rates are low. So them hiking their rates now, which they have been needing to do this past year, has resulted in that foreign exchange decreasing. So they don't want to hike their rates, but at the same time they need to. And there's a lot of like huge indecision in the market. You can see it here also with the pound, you know, God knows what's happening there. So market's not moving much. Have I ever been invested in trading options? No. I looked at it, but when I found FX, because I only knew about, you know, forex, I just stuck to this. Also because there's a lot of work to, like, you know, open options account and do that whole thing again, the whole admin and everything. So I just stuck with forex. I think it's pretty nice. You know, you're going to stick with one thing and then you got to master that thing. Because you can be such a good trader if you even just focus on one instrument, that you master one instrument, which moves nicely for you. Then somebody who focuses on like a bunch of these, you know, the focus on oil, platinum, Bitcoin, then you're kind of more spreading yourself thin. See in that position, how it faked out the shotgun position. Just nasty today. Today, just doing this so much. It's Freaky Friday. This is the day where people ruin it. So stop ruining it. Stop ruining it, guys. Stop ruining it. Because on Friday is always a story, right? It's always the story that, man, I gave my profits back. Get my weekly profits back. Or, you know, like you rush some trades on a Friday because you know the weekend is coming, but you really want to pass that account. It's always on a Friday. Please check out my chart in Discord. Feels good when Vic confirms my analysis. Let's see. Makes me trusting myself and build more confidence. Let's go. Yeah, let's see here, Jason. Happened just now. Took a nice W. Thanks TFX Concepts. Oh, this was the same idea here that Derek took, but you see, Derek took like a different kind of perspective. You know, but at least you're finding yourselves in these areas where there's a high probability of a move happening. So let's see for you. You had also the Asia highs were up here. Price exhaustion breakout, but did not move up. Yeah, I got Asia high liquidity sweep. Let's see, nice range on the left hand side. That looked good on the 5 minute. Entered sell position, break of the lows. Pretty awesome over here. Especially if you know, if you didn't get in on the first break, then you're kind of like monitoring. You know, that's something I do sometimes. If I don't get on the first break, then I just kind of monitor it and say, okay, if we re-break the lows, then I think at that point you can avoid a potential fake out and then catch the confirmation that price wants to move down bearish. So like that's what happened here. And price continue to move down, fill this clean range. Awesome. It's like a small little fake out that happened over here too. That 1 minute candlestick, how it just came all the way down like this. Pushed down quite heavy. Yeah, it's a pretty good trade there. Kind of like a low volume here with the London Open. It's like we just had the London Open fake out here. Then price started to pull upwards. Small little break and retest. Push above, but feels like there's low volume kind of. Hey, what's up, Xauusd? 5W, 11 for the week, just one trade a day. Let's go. Yesterday I found out gold hadn't had a red daily candle on Friday since July. Yeah, because people keying in positions before the weekend, right? So they're anticipating maybe Monday open, that price just keeps moving up. So if we think like price is gonna move up now, daily is literally a doji. It's at 0.02%. So if we think we're gonna close on the daily like a doji, pretty good time to be getting in. You know, and then expect some bullish exuberance following into next week. I would suppose that would be the idea. It's looking at a good price to get the daily flip. See, daily right here could flip. Yeah, done for the week. Have a great weekend. Adios, Yasin. So like how to fix the mental thing of winning with bigger size. When I increase my risk, I lose. And when I play low risk, I win steady. Just the mental thing of money, what to do. If you go up a level, you want to stay on that level, right? So if you feel ready for the next level, the next lot size, you don't want to go back here. You don't want to experience some kind of a losing streak and then scare yourself to coming back down here. So whenever you're increasing your lot size, you're increasing because you're seeing some kind of a performance. That's when you're only increasing your lot size. When your account is growing, when your skill is getting better, then you're going to slowly increase your lot size. But you don't want to do that and then come back down, even if you have a small losing streak to start. Just stick with it, stick with it, stick with it. So you see, increasing the lot size, man, that's something you really have to kind of meditate on. And test yourself, because it's going to be a test. It's going to test you to see if you're really ready for that level. You know what I mean? So that's the whole idea behind that. You're leveling up. But you see, if you're already seeing good consistency, that shouldn't be a problem. You know, nothing changes but the lot size, which you shouldn't even focus on in the first place. You know, you shouldn't even focus on the money in the first place. So just increase your lot size, but just keep doing what you're doing. Right? Just build confidence in yourself. Or what you can do is you can also just keep the higher lots for the cleanest setups. You know, that's another thing. That's another approach you can use. So if you see something really good, you're going to use a higher lot size. I think maybe that could help a bit more to start. Oh, a little mini little shotgun that's currently at play right now. Just a small little break and retest. Thank you for your live streams. I learned especially money management. Welcome. Here comes London. Yeah, we've yet to see like a clean move on gold. London open, kind of open here with like kind of a little bit of choppiness. Well, maybe this break and retest could be the play that fills up this range, because I was looking at price coming up to like 37.52. And we just got the daily flip confluence there too. So it would be nice to see some of that higher time frame volume start to kick in here. Do you ever use VWAP to try and trade when it's ranging like this? Trade from the outer bands back into the VWAP average? No. I used to use... Bollinger Bands as something that would show me, you know, the upper Bollinger Band for sells, then you see the middle one here, then lower Bollinger Band for a buys. If you enjoy watching your stream while working, it's a relaxing video. Glad to hear it play. Yeah, you know, trading can be a lonely game because you're just gonna sit there, you know, you're gonna sit there yourself, super quiet, and nothing really happens but waiting. So it's quite nice when you can, you know, build some kind of community here and you can wait together. Because if you're gonna wait together, you're gonna see the market in a different perspective. I also see right now, there's nothing happening. So there's maybe some people try and give us a shot that price can go up. But whenever price is moving like this, it's not really as appetizing as when it's moving up bullish in a trend environment. Because if you look at this, let's put on our kill zones. Market's predominantly just moving sideways right now, correct? You got the previous London session highs, you got previous London session lows, and market is just moving sideways. It's moving sideways. So there's no trend. Absolutely no trend right now. It's a complete mixed bias. Also, the daily's reflipping from bullish to bearish. Starting to form like some kind of a rejection wicks here. Literally. Friday volume. Yeah, Friday, I got a feeling this thing's just gonna chop. This thing's gonna chop, probably even throughout New York session. Might not even get a trending New York today. Gold holds grounds as investors seek safe haven. Gold prices tick higher in early trade as President Trump's latest tariffs and elevated geopolitical risks due to tensions over Russia's incursions into NATO airspace keep safe haven demand strong. Futures are up 0.1%. Investors now await. Oh yeah, we got core PC. It's probably gonna range at least until that core PC data. True, we got that on Forex Factory core PC due later today. Let's see for Qs into the Federal Reserve interest rate path this year. Wouldn't be surprised to see probabilities go down a bit on the rate cuts. Let's have a look. Fed watch tool, 33 days, 9 hours, 58 minutes till the next FOMC. It came down a bit, 87.7% easing for October, but still pretty high. Most likely gonna see another rate cut by the end of the year. So we're actually expecting bad numbers for core PCE for the dollar, which means gold should go up. But it's kind of like the difference is not that big. We might even come out neutral. The previous two core PCE came out neutral. So not too much direction on that. But they are getting some kind of a bearish sentiment there for the dollar. And that will be the last thing to wrap up this week. Core PCE price index. Then next week, we only got about till Tuesday for the quarterly candlestick to end. Then we're into Q4. The last stretch, Q4. So now you're going to reflect back on your quarter. And if you've already been gathering this data over here, you know, you're going to use that data to see what can you do differently in the next quarter. that's coming up. Maybe you're going to take less trades. Maybe you're going to reduce your risk, you know, but you have to change something. If you're not getting the results that you want, then you need to change something. You know, you just got to experiment. Oh, it's rejecting. It's kind of looks like rejecting over there. It's playing around with those SMAs. We got the SMA crossover currently in play. It's creating like some kind of a resistance. Not really a good sign. Whenever you see markets struggle like that, and you want to be super cautious, because it could be doing a consolidation reversal right here too. So it's like if it breaks these lows, the probabilities kind of increase that this trade doesn't move up. Instead, it starts to move down from these lows right over there. You know, that's something you gotta watch for. Breaks these highs, then, you know, increases probability that candles can distribute on bullish. Got that kiss of death, currently supporting it slightly over there. Should I do higher lot with less entry or smaller lot with more entry? Smaller lot, you can take 2 trades. Higher lot, 1 trade per day. You know, you just gotta start like that. What time's London open? Already opened like an hour ago. Kind of slow London open. Yeah, PA today's just bad at the moment. It's just one of those days, huh? Out of the whole week, there's always a day. There's always a day where the PA is going to consolidate. We don't know if that's going to be a Friday, if that's going to be a Monday. But definitely those two days are the ones people have more what do you call? Superstitious. People are more superstitious, you know, with Mondays, you know, Mondays setting up. You know, this is going to be setting up for the week. Then people think of Friday is also kind of like volatile. So you recommend only trading when it breaks the range? I wouldn't touch the market here in general because there's no directional bias, but we can see like some potential setups. There's setups, but there's just no bias. So, you know, you could take a trade, but whether that becomes a winning trade, it could distribute nicely from here. Like, this looks beautiful. Oh, Lee, look at that thing go. Yeah, that little pattern here, pattern-wise, that looks pretty nice. You know, pretty good, pretty good. The only thing that's missing is direction. The only thing I can say is daily candle flip. Daily candle flip, this high time frame volume coming in. Man, 0 drawdown. Beautiful. Straight into 15 pips. Let's freaking go. Nice little break and retest. You see, it didn't break the lows. Ended up breaking instead the highs. Broke the highs and then moved up. Amazing. This is what we want to see. You know, because I'm not in the market for entertainment. I think some people prefer more entertainment than actual trading, but I'm not here for entertainment. I'm here to make money. It doesn't matter if I make it in a minute, in 2 minutes. As long as I make money, you know, that's the goal. I'm not here to, like, you know, some people have this gambling thing. They have like a habit with gambling. You know, a gambler likes the feeling of, you know, sitting somewhere and then like playing and playing and playing. That's what a gambler likes. You know, for me, I don't like that. I just want to take my trade, quickly know if it's a winning trade or a losing trade. Manage my risk if I need to manage my risk. Then that's it. 0 entertainment. But it's trading. The moment trading becomes boring like that, then you know you're doing it right. Then you know you're doing it right. But that's for me. Some people's strategies, they have to get that drawdown. Like some people they can't avoid it. And it's all just based from how they take positions, you know. That's all it is. For me, I always thought about like, how could I make this the most efficient? You know, the key word here is efficiency, not effectiveness. You can be effective with a trend line. You can be effective with a lot of other things, right? But how can you be efficient? So you gotta kind of like box off the market. So this is how the journey looks. You start off with an idea, right? And then you slowly work your way to the efficiency every day to see, you kind of like boxing the market in, because markets only move 3 directions and they can only do so many things, right? So that's the spot that you're trying to get to right here. At least for me, at least for scalping mentality, right? You're trying to get to the most efficient as possible, because you know the devil's in the details. Devil is what creates this bigger moves. You see this? Like when you see like a big move happen, you're like, where did that big move come from? And what is that thing that is happening? You know, where's that singularity that creates these big moves, these explosive moves? You know, and then you're going to start investigating that, because devil's in the details. You're not going to see it looking from just this perspective, because a lot of people are still stuck on this perspective. They're either stuck here, here, or here. Right? And it's still fine. You can actually build a pretty good career like this. You don't have to be super efficient. Some strategies can't even get you in the door here. You know, there's going to be like a block off, because some strategies, they do have limitations. So there's going to be a block off. And the only way you can get more efficient is by almost changing your strategy. So you see, every single approach is going to have some kind of a barrier to it. You know, so I think this takes time. It takes time to start putting in that work and then seeing if you can keep going through those doors, if that's your goal. Some people make comfortable living, you know, sitting here or sitting here or sitting here. Also possible. Now coming up to 37.52 resistance. Daily is up 0.07%. Might see some profit taking over here. Can you find me just open without a top wick there too? That's actually not a bad try. Yeah, it's pretty nice over there. You see, now you got profit taking. TFX concepts. From the consolidation play to the shotgun entry to the profit taking. Point A, bus stop to point B. Profit taking. Always the same reaction. It's like clockwork. Now it's going to do that cycle all over again. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get yourself to understand at least this, right? If you can at least understand this, you're going to get your bearings on the market. But again, if you're just chasing signals, then man, I think you got to go watch MambaFX or something. You know, you got to go watch those other videos which look like you're walking into a candy store and there's a Bugatti and all of these things. I think that's where you belong. Because there's no longevity in that. It's just for fun, right? Just entertainment. But if you really understand, if you really want to understand, that's when you start breaking through the matrix. That's when you become from the watcher to the one applying the knowledge, to the one actually getting what you're watching, what you want to achieve. That's how you're going to get it. Man, but look at this. Beautiful. Right to the T. Profit taken by 37.52. Off the accumulation break into 5-minute resistance. That's why I always try and think of my trading like, where are these other traders? You know, like what's the perspective of other market participants? You know, because we're not all just taking one trade. There's buyers in the market, there's sellers in the market. Buyers make money, sellers make money, pigs get slaughtered. So at the same time, if you're like overly greedy, then you get caught in these other market movements. We have a little breaky there. How many pips did it do? Like 24 pips. I've been noticing of late, we've been hitting like around 20 pips, 30 pips, 20, 30 pips before like some kind of a reversal there. Even on a 16 pip stop loss. And then you're gonna look at this and say, why does this happen all the time? Is this a random thing? When price comes up like this and then rejects, is this random? And when you investigate it like that, you're gonna start building your edge. Because why? Why would it do that? You know, you can ask yourself that question. Man, it even opened with no top wick and just completely nutted there. Sure, it could have gone up. But, you know, the idea here is you're not trying to be right. Correct? You're not trying to be right. Sure, it could have gone up. But what's the probability of those times that it does have a reaction off of this level? That's the sample sizing data that you want. It's a pretty small range too. You know, from here to here, that's like 22 pips. So it's easier for price to make this journey or to make this jump from here to here. Now look, it doesn't mean that the trade is necessarily completely over, but you're definitely expecting some kind of a reaction here. It could always come back, retest, and then continue blowing through this level. But the longer you're in there, the higher probability you're giving that shock. You see, that shock is going to come and it's going to come and get you. Because sometimes I think what people confuse are what a short-term and a long-term entry is. So if you got tight stop losses, you can get an awesome risk reward very quickly, but you can't trade a tight stop loss necessarily like how you trade if you're expecting price on the daily to keep moving out throughout the New York session, for example. It becomes more risky to hold that tight stop loss through all that volatility, if that makes sense. That's why tight stop loss can give you a very nice risk reward quite quickly though. But you know, you got to get out. Otherwise, you know, the shock's going to come. What sort of ROC I should be happy with? What is ROC? Oh, what sort of ROI should I be happy with? I think you should be happy with if you can do 5% a month, risking 1% per trade. It's a pretty good start because now you only need to risk 2% per trade to make 10% a month. You know, if you can get to like 10% a month, I guess that's the kind of benchmark that people look for in trading is 10%. That's kind of the goal, the monthly goal, 10%. Because also some challenges are going to give you like a target of 10%. So that's typically the goal. So I'd be happy with like anywhere between 5 to 10%. But none of this is financial investment advice, guys. It's just like, you know, just the way it is. Gotta accept randomness in the trading world. Just on my day, letting go winners and so many EN1L. Sounds like you're on tilt. Gotta take a deep breath in. Breathe in, hold, then breathe out. Yeah, it's just gonna bounce here. Since it just hit resistance, it's stuck in here now. 1% up, 10 trades in. Got resistance, got support. So you see, that was the only move. That was like it's such a tiny pocket of opportunity that is. Before price needs to set up again. Before the cycle repeats. Got some nice range above this next point, 37.52. But it's pretty high. It's not the greatest though. This one is much nicer. It's a lot closer. This a lot more closer than what's happening back here. Yeah, it's a character building day. I think that's what it is more than anything else. Oh, there's another accumulation that happened down here too. Small little fast one. Not the cleanest, but definitely something is in there. Ooh. Yeah, it's gonna get aggressive. Man, when PA is set like this, usually this is when it can get quite aggressive. It has resistance above here and it's just like flirting with support areas like this, and you know this is not good. It's gonna have to move. PA price has got to break. It needs volume so it can like stretch its legs a bit. This is like sitting in some kind of economy class here. Gold. It needs to stretch its legs a bit. You know, if it can stretch its legs a bit, then we can be a bit more comfortable again. This is clearly a consolidation. Yes. You know, that's the thing about the way I trade. I like that it's clear. You know, I like that it's clear that it's a consolidation. I like that it's clear that price is moving up or moving down. I don't like these other ones where it's like unclear. You know, we gotta buy FEG over here, but at the same time we have a sell FEG somewhere around here. So like, which one do you go with? See, like it's pretty clear today for a lot of us that price is moving in a certain way. That's what we like. We like the read on price where everybody can somehow also have some simple consensus on the market. It makes the trades even much. It can make the trades much nicer too. Then if you're just trying to be, you know, special and you're trying to outsmart the market, because that's a habit a lot of us like to do. We like to kind of also put ourselves on the side and kind of at the same time say that we want to do the opposite. Alright, we kind of want to be special, do the opposite. But in the long run, you're going to see market sentiment. Going with the market is really what you want to do. Because if price is moving up, there's a high probability your buys are going to play out. Correct? Like even if it's a shitty trade, it's a higher chance just because you're on the right side, it's going to play out. So you're not outsmarting anything. And if you see consolidate and you see choppy and we can all see it, probably a smart idea to stay out of the market. You know, you don't have to outsmart the market. What's a kiss of death? I've heard about it. Just want to know what it is. It's like when the SMA is right underneath the candlestick wick and it taps into it like this. Then it creates some kind of like a volume push. What we had happen over here too. So if you bring this back here, dude, see how price is coming in? Look at this. Kiss of death. Boom. Right there. And then price shot up. So it's like a volume confirmation. Volume awareness tool. You can download it in the description box. It's just the SMAs. Also had one here which was also nicely respected on this candlestick. Tapped right into it and then came down. See this? Boom. Then respected. Uh, 20? No, it's 50 and 8. Second trade, managing my trade SL to B at this point. Price doesn't have enough volume. Down for today. 1W, 1B. Time to enjoy my weekend. Let's go. Let's go. Break? This is gold. Oh yeah, this is a gold break from earlier. It struggled for a bit. You know, you could have reduced your risk on that trade if you wanted to see it through till the end when price was giving a hard time like this. Because it was forming that reversal, potential reversal confirmation here. So instead of losing stop loss from here, it could have also reduced your risk right here. Because if it broke the bottom of the consolidation, then you know price could have come down and hit your full stop loss. So you can manage right there. But you see in this case, you still give a chance, some time for you to be still in your trade. And then see if it can respect it to break the highs of the console to distribute bullish. But you know, pretty good. You still manage your risk. Come on, Goldie, fly. Fly, Goldie, fly. Instead of SL to B, Vic, but already hit entry one time, I managed and hit second time. Yeah, it needs to stretch. It needs to break. It needs to break these levels. It needs to disrespect these levels here. So it creates new, more recent PA. Got some few rejections here on the hourly too. Couple of wicks. It's like a boat. Trying to dock this boat here. But there's a lot of like stone on in the ocean. There's a lot of reef. These are these rejections. Look at this, these rejections here. It's gonna be kind of hard to navigate through this. And the challenges don't stop there. It also has some few more resistances up here too. Got rejection wicks, got some more resistance points. It's kind of forming like a inverted head and shoulders. You got left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Little liquidity grab right there. So it is trying to make its way up. If the daily is going to close anyhow, I would like to see it close bullish. But it's like 50-50 right now, to be honest. Because yesterday we also had some pretty strong sell-offs during the New York session. But I would like to see it close bullish. I'd love to see like some kind of a reversal play happen right here. Because once it breaks above 37.61, we should be getting more of that much more of that daily push. That higher time frame confirmation of direction above this high right over here. Because right now it's like a reversal play, right? You had price distribute from this area, and it's giving these sellers a hard time. Correct? It's giving these sellers a hard time so that it can reverse on them. Then we're going to see price move up. Then we're going to get our bumper clot. Most likely it's a timing thing, So it doesn't matter about what's happening right now. It could be just a timing thing because the market already... You got to think of the market like it has its own brain, right? If you got core PCE coming out in New York session, you have core PCE coming out at 8:30 a.m. What's probably the market moves before that? Especially because the numbers are coming out, neutral. It's not works. We're not like really expecting crazy numbers to be coming out, so we might not see that pricing in happen soon. So markets could possibly just hold some key ranges until then start moving for like New York session. Maybe we start breaking above those key higher time frame zones to keep pushing up for that daily. Because the daily right now, it's still pretty young. It just created a daily bottom wick. Hasn't had too much movement in it at all. So we could definitely still see this thing come up here. Maybe like a target on the daily for buys could be like 37.80. Price can move up to 37.80, I think would be nice. Feel like we haven't had a proper Freaky Friday in a while. Freaky Friday. Gold dips ahead of US PCE data. You know how people used to trade back in the day? They would get it in a newspaper. They would see a stock in the newspaper. How's my index doing today? That's it. You don't get no live data feeds. You're gonna have to call the guy. Where's gold trading at right now? I had my entries at 34.45. Could you get me out at 37.56? So slow. No way you're scalping. You could not scalp back in those days. I gotta hold trades. Gotta call someone. Gotta communicate with people. Hey John, how you doing? Can you get me in gold? What's the price of gold right now? Can you get me in this price? And then get me out of this price? Okay, sorry. And then by the time you take that order, man, price would have already moved like, 10, 15, God knows how many pips by the time that order is keyed in. But nowadays, so nice. Trading view on your phone. Those are my first stock trades. Mock me for it. Oh. Yeah, we got a boomer here. If it keeps knocking at the door, it has to break through eventually. Yes. see, it was Zenile, 1970s, 1980s. Ah. Oh, yeah. The boomers are 1946, 1964. Back in my days, gold was at $40 a troy ounce. I actually watched a interview like that recently. It was a documentary about gold and about how more people are getting invested in gold. It was a Bloomberg documentary, and there's this like really old guy there, and he was like, "Man, I remember when gold used to be like, $50 or something like that." This thing got loads of leg room. If you look at our market in general, there's so much potential. If you just take from the higher time frame, the stock market and everything, it all seems quite young. Now my trading view is frozen. Awesome. Let me in. Oh, something's going on here. It wouldn't let me look at it. It's like proper young. Man, especially something like Tesla, like Tesla still hasn't had its real distribution yet. It's literally a distribution phase, guys. This would be the area that I would ideally want to have been getting in on Tesla, because if we believe this thing is gonna go to the moon, right underneath $500, but there's huge potential here. It's still in the inception. Especially with like how fast markets are moving nowadays. Damn, Goldie. Look at this. So hard for price to move up here. Just created so many resistance. Because if you look at this PA, you're going to ask yourself, like, how are you going to take a trade over here? If it's not clear, then I gotta like stay away, because you have support level over here. You got another support level over here. This range is not worth it. This is quite like a risky range to trade. There's nothing over here. You got like major support levels. You have huge resistance points here on the HDF. This is usually an area where people take like the worst type of trades. What you need to do is wait for either a huge bearish candle or a huge bullish candle to kind of first indicate to you volume has come back into the market and it's creating some kind of new structure. Gotta kind of zoom out here. But the break is going to be a pretty strong break. Well, once it starts to move, especially off a reversal play like this on the higher time frames, it's going to be a big break. We're expecting it to be a big break, about 37.61. See, there's also a beautiful little range here that was filled from previous BA. Price broke above resistance, filled up the range, come towards resistance, profit taking, and then waterfall. It's literally like how the markets move. Downwards, sideways, buy, boom, close above resistance, pushed up, profit taking, come back down. Then the cycle repeats. You can see it on different time frames. There's hourly time frame, you can see on the 5-minute time frame. That's the kind of cycle that you want to see. Gives you a lot more kind of direction. You get much stronger bearings. When you see price move the way you anticipate it to move, that's when you know it's time to trade. But when you see price moving in a way that you don't understand, then it's obviously not time to trade. Like right now, for me, there's a time in the market where I don't understand this. You know, there's nothing here for me. It's just like trickling to the upside. Trickle, trickle, trickle. We already talked about this one move that happened over here. You know, that made sense off the 1-minute play. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. Quick little move that could have happened. There was even like earlier entries from over here. But yeah, anyway, right now it is still not set up. It's not in that cycle. You know how we normally talk about these point A's, like price has a good probability to move somewhere. Right now it's just kind of moving. It's just kind of moving without any sort of like incentive to give traders a good entry, because it's not like it came down first. You know, at least here it came down first. Nice volume came in, and then, you know, it starts to get a bit more interesting at that point. But when you see it trickle up like this, kind of want to be careful. Just let it do its thing. You know, you gotta let the market do its thing. I think it's just gotta break above these resistance points. My prayers to the volume gods have been answered or heard. Amen, brother. What's my risk ratio? Hard to say, man. It's very hard for me to answer that. Just to keep it simple, I usually say a 1-to-1, but with the way we manage our risk, it's sometimes our trades can be like 1-to-7 even, 1-to-5. So it's kind of hard to say, because, you know, the thing that's only dynamic in trading is your risk. But I would say from a percentage wise, I'm looking for 1% or 2% per day. So it doesn't matter how I get it, 1-to-1 risk to reward. As long as I manage my risk, you know, even a 1-to-1 can theoretically look like a 1-to-2. And it can even give you opportunity to scale in and then like have those as running trades. So very difficult to answer that question. It's kind of like when you ask someone what's your net worth, right? If you got multiple businesses and someone asks you like what's your net worth, it's kind of hard to like say what your net worth is, because, you know, it's like that's dynamic. That risk is dynamic, you know. So that's how I look at trading. There's no easy way out. There's only the hard way out. A lot of people looking for the easy way out, but there's no easy way out. You know, you're not gonna make it out with the easy way out. So for me, that's when I started looking at how can I make risk work for me. you know. But when you just use risk reward like 1 to 2, 1 to 3, you're just kind of like hoping it hits that, right? But how can you make risk work for you? That's the only thing you can control, is this part. You can't control this part, but you can manipulate this part if you know how to work with this by reducing your risk, maybe even scaling in. Because, you know, every moment in the market is unique moment. So that first trade, when you first get into a trade and then it starts to give you a hard time, it's no longer the same trade that you had initially got into. Like something has changed. It's variables. Variables are always shifting. You know, even if you look at professional poker players, there's always some kind of a variable that shifts. You know, maybe the guy does something and you realize that, you know, he's twitching or he's getting nervous, and you're like, oh, damn. You know, so something has changed here. Now I can take advantage of that. But you can only get to that level if you truly want to learn how to trade. If you want to be a one-dimensional ant, you know, like an ant moves, it only sees like is it like 2D? Is it like 2D? But it has like a very flat perspective, you know? Then you kind of like hold yourself back from your potential. That's the last thing I want to see anyone do. Hold himself back for the potential. So, yeah, man, you got to look at risk. You got to look at risk a bit more dynamic there. Ivek, is your buyers from daily or hourly, or do you base your trade on the hourly with a break of accumulation area? Oh yeah, the bias is from the daily. It's from the daily. And you're trying to catch an hourly candlestick. And do you base your trade on the hourly with a break? No, I don't base it on the hourly though, but I am trying to catch the hourly. And the daily gives you a good hint of direction. So you see right now daily is up 0.13%. So there's not too much happening there on the daily. Inverse head and shoulders on 15. Oh yeah, nice. Also hourly, I think. Gold is quite surprising. Like yesterday also kind of struggled. If you look at how prices dumped yesterday. Where is this? This is on the 15-minute, I think it looked. Yeah, you got like such a strong... This is what I mean. Like, you know, it's not the same trade you get into because price is a bit dynamic. So if you see something like this, it's usually when price struggles like this and then starts to break lows. This is an accumulation breakout over here. You see volume came in. Nice little confluence. You had rejection wicks all the way up over here. This is what when I come to reading price, this is what reading price is all about. You know, understanding these movements, and then how can you adjust your positions accordingly or take advantage to those trades. Because sometimes they find you, right? You're going to come onto the chart one time and maybe you're just over here. And then you're like, oh, damn, you can already see it. It's like the market comes to you, right? And then you're like, oh, okay. So, you know, it's quite interesting here. We have a accumulation. I can see on the 15, we're rejecting 15. Okay, you know, maybe I'm going to take a sell. I'm going to take a sell over here. However you want to play it, you have clean range on the left-hand side. Then you say to yourself, all right, if we break above the highs, then maybe I'm going to look for buy. If we break the lows, I'm going to look for a sell, right? Sometimes it's like that. The market will just find you. It will find you. This is happening at 7 a.m. I'm usually on the charts at 6 a.m., but it looks like for 6 a.m., there was nothing on 6 a.m. So I'll be waiting. Usually I'm on the chart for at least an hour then. And then you see it comes in at 7 a.m. So that volume from 6 a.m., that pre-NY volume, slightly delayed to 7 a.m. Still pre-NY. New York session was going to open an hour later after this. Then you're going to take that trade and, you know, it's going to have a good day there. Oh, let's say this. You took an early buy. Not sure why you took this buy. I would say this is not a straightforward chart to understand for me. Let's say you got a touch. This is on the 3-minute time frame. You got gold. Looking for gold sells. Got a touch over here. Thank you for your response. On an average day, how many trades will you take, or rather, which sessions do you enjoy scalping? Pre-London, London, and pre-NY. I'll take like maybe 1 or 3 trades a day. Just trying to catch an hourly candlestick for each session. So for pre-London, looking to catch an hourly candle, whatever direction, because each of these candles are going to have a move, like we always speak about. You know, so how can you get in and out of the market within this hourly candlesticks? Hey, Raj. Starting to make the move a little. It broke a trend line to the upside. Try orb strategy. Bro, you missing? Please don't teach me how to trade, sir. I don't need your advice on how to trade. I'm not missing. I'm not missing on anything. If anything, I'm doing pretty well compared to a lot of people, so I don't think I'm missing on anything. You know, that's the thing. You always feel like you're missing something, eh? Because you know, FOMO doesn't exist. Just because my strategy is not giving me an entry here doesn't mean I'm missing on anything. You know, this is just my opportunity to sit on my hands and watch price action, which is also fine. It is okay not to trade. Your strategy, you mustn't always look for a reason to trade. That now you're going to look for an FEG because now your support resistance is not there, so you're going to force a Fibonacci or maybe something else. You know, at that point you're chasing money, and money doesn't like to be chased. You know, chasing money is like chasing a hot girl. You know, hot girls, they don't like to be chased. Hot girls are attracted to the guys they're attracted to, you know. So why do you want to chase? Why do you want to chase the market? Let it come to you. Like, it's okay. It's okay not to trade. FOMO doesn't exist. Actually, you're gonna save a lot of money. You're gonna save a lot of money if you don't trade. You know? Because the hardest thing to making the money in trading is keeping the money. Because you're gonna have an amazing week. And it happens to a lot of people. They're gonna have an amazing week, and then at the end of the week, they're gonna give it all back. Hey, AD, nice to see you back here in the chat. I think I remember you. Play golf in Japan, right? What's up? How was the morning? I'm at work and got 5 minutes. Came to say hello. Yeah, morning is consolidating here. I was talking to one of my classmates yesterday. He lives in Japan now. He was making a joke because he posted a video of him smoking and drinking in a bar. It's like, Ben's become a salary man. Because that's what the salary men in Japan do. They go hard. They work hard. They're loyal. Straight out of high school, they find a company to work for the next 50 years till retirement, basically. And they just have these nights out, usually in Japan, where they got like their own traditions and stuff, like where they have to serve alcohol. You know, you all go out and you have drinks, you get wasted together, but at the same time, there's kind of like a hierarchy. So you have to make sure there's always like alcohol flowing. So you always got to make sure like a cup is not empty. And man, Japan's a whole thing. So it's like Ben's become a salary man. You could see it. He's a teacher now, a buddy of mine there. It's something a lot of foreigners do. When they go to Japan, they usually get in there with like teaching. You know, they teach like English. But man, Japan's got so many rules. Like if you want to go swimming, for example, you gotta go swimming and you gotta have rules like you can't swim if you have tattoos. You can't swim if you have accessories. You gotta take off your Apple Watch. You know, trash, man. And the way you guys like organize your trash too, that's another level. Like literally, if you have like milk curtain or something, you gotta take the labels off. You know, this is like, I know in Germany there's also like the whole system of how you manage your trash. But I don't even think a German would be able to do this in Japan so easily. Like, you have to take your labels off. You gotta organize it properly. And if you don't and you put your trash out, they're gonna leave your trash there. Probably even gonna put it in front of your door. And they're not gonna take it. But definitely want to go visit Japan, sir. It does look like an awesome country, though. Are you looking forward to break the candle or the wick? I'm not looking for anything at this point. I'm in Germany and I will not take any labels off. Do I trade German footy? No. You got the caps too. You gotta separate the caps, separate the plastics from everything. Oh yeah, true. You got the bottle caps as well. That is wild. Like, I don't know how foreigners do it. It's like a huge culture shock. More than a lot of places in the world. Never takes some time to get adjusting to. Also, no, I think also Japan's one of those countries where people don't really speak English too, right? Like, so if you travel, it's quite difficult. All right, Goldie, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Can we break above 37.61 already? Because, you know, right here, it's like a higher probability that you're going to take more of a losing trade than a winning trade. Thank you for helping us every day. I appreciate you tuning into the stream every day. But welcome, welcome. Gold doesn't want to move. Just sell it. Sell that she. Mr. Rashid, remember that guy? Dude, some random guy found the stream and he came and he gave some analysis, some crazy analysis didn't even make any sense. But it was like, I told you to buy that sheet because price moved up. Then he left the stream. Yeah, long did bring much liquidity into the market. Saw a weird video of Trump holding Charlie Kirk's wife. That guy's weird. But apparently Charlie Kirk's wife was part of a pageant that was sponsored by Donald Trump. Also kind of weird. She was like crying on him and everything. And he made this weird face. Gotta release those Epstein files. Those are never gonna be released. Let's see if I can find it here. I don't know, like just something about this just so weird, right? Like look at the face that he makes right here. Like why would he do that? What does that even mean? Maybe we read into these things too much. Because every single movement he does, like the public just really reads into it. But at the same time, it's like, why would you do that? Yeah, this is sus, man. This is sus. Yeah, see, there's a picture of his wife. That's some kind of like a Trump International Las Vegas. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Weird. My discipline's improving even outside the market. Nice to hear, Woods. If it's boring, you're doing it right. It's actually fun. You know, trading is fun though when you get your entries. I have to admit, after all the waiting, and then you finally get that entry. Oh man, it feels so good. It feels so good because now you know you're playing with probabilities and you're really expecting one thing happening with the other thing, and you know this was the trade that you were waiting for. Then it feels really nice. That's a thing that's super addictive, right? It's super addictive once you start seeing that consistency come in. Once you start getting your results from that consistency, it's usually worth the wait. Like yesterday's trade actually took some time for us to wait. We waited about 2 hours for yesterday's trade. Just waited for it to come to us. We saw some other buy opportunities. We're not looking too great, but you know, we just watched the market play out. Let the market come to us. And that was like the cleanest move. Hey, Georgie, thank you for the sub. Damn, I nearly made a dark joke, but I restrained myself. No, make the dark joke. There's this comedian that I love. He does dark jokes, and his name is... Man, I'm so bad with names. His name is... have I forgotten his name? Anthony Jeselnik. Anthony Jeselnik. If you like dark jokes, because I also got a kind of like dark sense of humor. I find sometimes the weirdest things funny. But watch this guy, Anthony Jeselnik. He's got the funniest dark humor. Alright, AD, catch you later. Enjoy your weekend. Sell gold, what do you think? Oh, you can't write caps. I don't think selling is a good idea, especially when it's moving up like this. Just wait for it to move. Wait for it to move, guys. It's gold is like it's possibly even setting something up here, but definitely like a low volume. What do you mean for daily already absorb X percentage? I mean, like, if you see the daily and it's only up 0.15%, that usually doesn't mean anything. It means that the daily is consolidating, that there's not much confidence, you know, in price to move up. So it's quite important to look at those daily percentages. They do give you a hint of what price is most likely going to be going towards. So what percent should we look out for? Let me like, you know, 40%. Pretty nice, 40%. But it depends on the session. Like for this session, you'd need kind of like more volume. So if you see at 0.40, that's a pretty good sign. But pre-London, you don't really need so much of that. And pre-NY, not really. Because sometimes pre-NY is like a reversal time. So it wouldn't matter as much then. But it's pretty nice for the London Open because usually you're going to see if prices and momentum, London should be able to carry a bit more of that volume. Even though you're getting in late because London is usually already when the moves happen from pre-London or Asia. But if it's still high up, there's signaling to you that it could still potentially keep moving up for a bit, for example. But then with pre-NY usually you can sometimes get like a change of character. So you see that timing thing is quite important. But just as a general rule of thumb, if you see that daily up 0.40, it's pretty good signal. Right now, what are we on? 0.12%. So it's pretty easy for price to also come down. Hey, Ashley, good morning. I think it's a selling zone. I think pre-NY is really hard to trade. Yeah, I mean, like, also if you look at yesterday was pretty good though, wasn't it? But I don't know, pre-NY for me is like the last easiest for me at least. Because the next, when New York session opens, you have to navigate the red folders. So it's a bit more tricky. But you see, like yesterday's pre-NY was pretty decent here. 6 a.m. came in and then consolidated to the 7 a.m. break. You see, you're trying to catch an hourly candlestick. That's what I always mean. Like I'm just trying to catch hourly because look, this is an hourly push. 7 a.m. candle, 6 a.m. candle didn't do anything. But 7 a.m. candle had volume. Let's see what we had the previous days. Previous days we got some buys. Let's see. This was 6 a.m. candle was a sell. This is where we took our sell right over here. So again, 6 a.m. candle. You see the direction shifted because it moved from having buys over here to consolidating for London. There was no direction. and then it ended up selling off. And when you're coming in at pre-NY, you can already see the direction that price is moving. Because sometimes that pre-NY will give you that change of character, even if you're moving up bullish previously. Surrendron, thank you for the membership. Let's go. Welcome to TFX tribe. But yeah, now it's like setting up again. It's kind of like it needs to move from this area. What I think it might happen is like a big sell like this, and then start to set up maybe again for buys, but it's gonna create an opportunity like this that we had here. You should see 9 hours from now, it's normal, the retracement of the day big move. So what do you reckon? Big move up or big move down? But you see, if you take a sell here, then maybe you're taking it based off of this area, that if price breaks below that support, that price can continue to move down right over here. But it's still an overall sketchy area. The market has not yet proven to me that it wants to really do anything, because you see it's still choppy. You're still trading inside a range of sorts, like with low volume. Don't worry about FOMO. Don't worry about missing the move, you know. Let the market move. Let it move. Let it show you direction and volume and opportunity, and then you can always still get in. Sometimes when the market moves, it's not moving to just set up. It's also moving to set the real move up for later. So you might miss a short-term move now, but catch a longer-term move later. When it moves slowly but steadily up, is there more chance it stays up rather than a big fast push? No, actually you want to be more cautious. When it moves slowly up like this, usually for me it's setting up a trap for potential sell. So you see how many supports it's creating, and then it's slowly moving. This is sometimes usually a trap, and then it takes out these lows. That's how I've seen this happen before, quite a bit, and especially on news days when we have fundamentals during New York session. So I want to be cautious about this, because if it was moving up with true intention, it wouldn't do it with so many resistance points and then supports. Usually when price moves, it moves. You see, like when it sells off, it just sells off and moves like this. So this is definitely not something you want to see for buying confidence. That's what you want to see for selling confidence. Because it's working hard to move up, but at the same time it's leaving a lot of these buyers here vulnerable. I think it's closing on some big bank / big players profit taking. Maybe a bit of risk off. Pretty clean on the 15. Oh yeah, 15 does look good. It's already filled up this range here, right to the T. Hit resistance. If the 1 hour, if you look at the 1 hour, you also got 1 hour rejection wicks over here. It's a very tricky spot for the buyers. But yeah, 15 looks nice to come down. It's like 37 pips. Just the 5 minute looks ugly. 30 minute also looks good. As it breaks his lows, we should see some momentum kick in by 37.51. That should start triggering some serious positions. Bitcoin's dead in the water as well. If we are waiting for the news, it also makes sense for price to come back into the range. There you go. Selling pressure came in. So it should set up. It should finally start to move, at least start to move somewhere. For it to come down, create some kind of like a range. That's what I would ideally like to see. Obviously, I'm just paper trading this. Not in this trade. We're starting to see a little bit of volume start to kick in. A little bit more of that direction. You know, that feeling that price can go somewhere, which we haven't had much of that feeling over here. It's only starting to happen here now. There's a potential TFX entry right there. Or there is a TFX entry breakout to the downside if you're looking for sells. So we should see some kind of reaction. Not like what we had here previously. You've seen the move down to 37.45.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Nice distribution. Finally, some kind of like movement. Goldie is finally waking up somehow. See, right below that wick, 37.51. Push it like another 20 pips. There's also a nice little fake out confluence over here too. 5-minute close above resistance. Next candlestick close like bearish doji candle to re-break the lows of the accumulation on the 1 minute. Also got a rejection of hourly resistance, profit taking. Also got rejection wicks on the hourly time frame on the left hand side. So, you know, there are reasons over here also people are looking at this like a sell zone. So, you know, when all that adds up like that, you see then you get the reaction. So that's why I always say it's better to not outsmart the market, but trade what you see and not what you feel. So you see, you could see these rejections here. You could see this. See that it would be much more of a struggle for price to move up because money likes the path of least resistance. Like candlesticks, the move through areas of least resistance. So if you got a lot of resistance up over here, it would rather just come down. Experience is talking? Yes. The Ferrari Roma is a way nicer in real life than on the pics. One just drove past me. Oh yeah, that is pretty nice actually. Of course, that's Ferrari. Yeah, pretty nice distribution. So it's, you know, if you didn't take the sell, then if you didn't take the sell, then don't worry. The buy is gonna be right around the corner. Potentially. It might be a buy, might be a sell continuation. Also, if you're being disciplined today and you're, you know, just kind of protecting your money, I think that's also pretty good. I took the sell. Yeah. Should we sell? Now you've missed a move. So it's important to understand where those the inception is for this moves. I haven't thought I saw an earlier one right over here. But I think the safest one would have been this larger area right here to break through that zone. No risk, no rari, my friend. You cannot always look in hindsight and then feel like, oh, should I sell now? Because most people, you see, this is psychology of most people. They're gonna see it after the move, after it moves like this, then they're gonna say, should I sell now? But you see, we've already been talking about the setup from here, from the break of these wicks. So if you were gonna actually take a trade, if you wanted to execute, because you know you're either gonna come in a chart with an execution mindset or like a very conservative approach to markets, where it's like you only take the most easiest trades that just show up to you, right? So if you're not coming on here with an execution mindset, then you know you're obviously not gonna execute here. You're gonna see the move happen and be like, damn, I wish I could have caught that move. But for me personally, I wouldn't have taken the sell anyway because a daily is still bullish right now. We're still consolidating. Like, there's not much direction. It's a Friday. So I would not also have taken the sell. But I did see the probability of the sell. So, you know, just pepper trading to see, okay, you know, is it going to work out? Is it going to fake out? Then you just kind of keep doing that to keep you on your toes. I've took the sell, but maybe I put BE too early. Wow, how'd you get stopped at BE? Man, this thing had like 0 drawdown. How is that possible? It literally broke the lows and then just continued moving down. If you're talking about the same entries we were talking about by 37.51, how is that possible? Okay, what are we waiting for? Oh, you want to buy? If you want to buy, just wait. It's currently a distribution phase right now. You have to wait for a structure to build and then show you a potential buy. Right now, it's paying out the sellers from that zone that we spoke about. This is a point A. That's all that it's doing. Going to buy soon, full margin. I took the sell. Damn, that was sweaty. Yeah, looks like finally some people here caught some sells. Where you take it from? 37.50. Got 37.50, 786. Oh, came in kind of late there. Yeah, but W is on the patience. You see, it's only like when price actually forms these really high probability areas. Also start seeing more people taking positions, more people get involved in the market. But you see, when it's like this, more people are quiet. You can even see with the chat. Like, more people are quiet in a situation like this. What I noticed, the chat's actually pretty good. Y'all are actually pretty good traders. I think that the area you struggle is with like over trading, over risking, you know. But if you're able to wait here, because everyone is quiet here, and then have an opportunity here, Ashley called this out first, I think. Said there was like a sell zone. And then, you know, people were just probably anticipating those sells with everything with the structure on the left-hand side. Then for me personally, the way I was also looking at it, I was thinking TFX concepts, break of these lows, if anything, for a sell probability. And, you know, some people got in sells in different ways. But I think the important thing is, like, we all find ourselves here, correct? We all find ourselves here somehow. And that's what you want to do. You want to keep finding yourself here. Because these are where the highest probability trades are going to be. You know, because some of the times we take these dumb shit losses, and these losses are happening at areas of even low probability trades. And areas where you can't replicate anything here. But you can replicate this. You know, you also got reversal confluence over here. Break above structure. See, break above structure on the left-hand side, and then also reversed. Wasn't the cleanest reversal confluence because we had so much resistance on the left-hand side. But yeah, kind of like similar thing. If you imagine someone take a buy here and they get stuck in a position like this, most likely going to be a losing trade once it starts chopping up like that. So, you know, these are concepts that we take like on a daily basis. So if you're new to the stream, I would recommend just keep watching the stream, tune into the stream for at least a quarter so you can start seeing this. Because right now it might seem a bit of hindsight to you or something like that. But, you know, if this is something we speak about on a daily basis, then, you know, the proof's in the pudding, as they say. Where do people send you those charts? This is on Discord. So you can find the link in the description box for the best London session community here. I can only guarantee that you, by watching the stream, your trading is going to get better. It cannot get worse. That's one thing I promise you. Your trading cannot get worse by watching the stream. It can only get better. I think it gives some pretty good advice here. But you know, that's 50%. 50% is watching the stream. The other 50% is engaging with the stream. Also engaging with the community here, sending in your charts, getting feedback. What happened here? Quarter closes Tuesday, then I have 6 days off. Gonna be locked in like never before. Glad to hear, Woods. What trade did you take? Premature BE for me, but I live to trade again. Yes. Well, what's going on with the break evens though? Like, how are you guys getting break even? If it's like TetraFX confirmation, I don't even see a break even. It still even hasn't come all the way up there yet. Where'd you guys take your trades? I think y'all took your trades later, eh? You kind of hesitated. You kind of hesitated a bit. Price pushed, and it pushed out like about 14 pips. They got in late. Yeah, that's probably it. Y'all got in late. But it's still, you know, still got a decent push. Still pushed like 20 pips even if you got in late. Whatever, if you got in late here, for example. Now it's accumulating again. It's setting something up again. Yeah, but this is what we love to see. This is literally what we love to see. More structure, more volume, more direction, opening up nicely. You see it's creating ranges so quickly again. You see it got clean range again here, like 38 pips. So the cycle continues. It's in that cycle mode again. Like a washing machine. It's in that cycle mode, you know, like a, let me show you. This is how I look at the cycle mode. You got Walter White cycle mode. This is when it's time to collect, boys. This is time to collect. Most of the time you're just gonna be waiting until, you know, until the laundry is ready over here for you. Then that's when you start picking up your tokens and getting your trades, and everything's good at that point. But you want to avoid most of the time you just want to avoid this goat shit PA that we had previously. Because now it's giving more opportunities to actually catch something. He left some on the top. Yeah, that's the one he left on the top here. It's above 37.50. It's gonna come back for that one later. So what I learned from that was be patient until it breaks, no matter how long it takes. Yeah, exactly. Be patient until it breaks, no matter how long it takes. You know, if it rhymes, it must be true. And if it rhymes, you can remember it better. Got some bars. Let's see. Guys are getting... Wait, let me try and bring this. Guys are getting better, faster. Josh is killing it, and Frankie too. Love to hear it. That was literally the only clean... Well, there was only one clean thing that happened here. There was only two clean opportunities for the day. There was this one right here. That previous breakout that we spoke about. Boom. Right into 5-minute resistance. And then came down. Oh, there's a 5-minute resistance right here. And then the next opportunity was the sell opportunity. But you see, it's like a mixed bias type of day. You could get a buy. You could also get a sell. Because the daily is not trending. Look, the daily literally flipped. The daily is back down to being bearish, negative 0.02%. Super mixed buys. See, nice, lovely distribution. That's what you're trying to replicate right here. When you see something like this happen over and over again, that's what you're trying to replicate. You know, so if you're only chasing signals, man, you're missing out so much value. It's insane. You know, because man, discipline can hurt. Discipline can hurt, but the opposite, man, that regret's gonna be super painful. So you gotta choose what pain that you want. Do you want the pain of discipline, or do you want the pain of regret? Because you know, both are gonna hurt. So which one do you want? Pain of discipline, pain of regret. So when you join the stream, when you join TFX, don't join just for the signals. Although the signals are banging signals and my strategy is efficient AF, join for the value, because you don't want the pain of regret. Trust me, you don't want the pain of regret, because I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this for as well. And when that opportunity finishes, man, it's going to be done. But of course, this is something I'm planning on doing for at least the next 5 years. You know, as we're still building this community. But don't choose the path of the pain of regret, my friend. Value is king. Yeah, well said, Rashid. Value is king. Because trust me, the markets are never going to change. They're going to keep having these same old cycles. These are cycles that are happening on the first year of me learning to trade, but you can't see them when you're in your first year of trading. You know, you're only going to see them more clearly the more effort you put into it. The more you show up, the more you're looking for it, the more you're organized, then you're going to see those opportunities a lot more cleaner. So inside even the days when price action is looking super messy, you can at least make some kind of a sense of it. And it helps you your patience too. How can I bring discipline and control my mind from overtrading? It's quite simple. You know, a lot of people function from a point of view of motivation. Right? Motivation. But motivation, it doesn't last very long. It's like the wind. It comes and goes. But discipline kicks in when the motivation dies out. So you see, the thing about being disciplined, the secret to discipline is nobody likes to do it. You know, nobody loves being disciplined. It's like, it's not as fun. But if you understand that, then you know what needs to be done. You just have to... The best way to control your mind is by holding yourself accountable. That's by setting yourself rules that you need to follow. If you don't have rules, you can't have accountability, because you know then there's no rules to the game. You can sucker punch yourself and you're just gonna look the other way. But if you have rules, like let's say today you say you're gonna take one trade, you're gonna risk 1%, you're gonna trade a specific setup. Maybe you're looking for the daily candlestick to trend. Maybe you're looking for something specific. Then you hold yourself accountable. Then you start to control your mind a bit better that way. Otherwise, you can't, because the mind is designed. It's designed to do everything to do the opposite, to be more safe, to be more comfortable. That's what the mind is. It protects you. It protects you from bad experiences. It wants to protect itself. So it's not your best ally. So you need to have a system throughout your day that keeps you on track. The mind plays a lot of tricks on you. If you think about it this way, when you do public speaking in school, right? And whenever you have anxiety before you know public speaking or presentation, most of the time, or even meeting somebody, most of the time, it's a different reality than what your mind made it up to be. So if you have like an appointment to go somewhere and you're anxious to do, maybe you're going to apply for a job. In real life, things always play out differently than how your mind anticipated it to play out. Correct? You see, this is how the mind works. It's not your friend. It's not your buddy. Most of the time, it's going against you. So you have to be disciplined. You have to have these rules. When you wake up in the morning, you have to have a set of things that you're going to achieve for that day. If you don't have that, then it's very easy for the mind to play with you. especially on the charts. You know, you start losing patience, start taking dumb shit trades because you have no control. And the only thing you can control is your mind. You can't control literally nothing else in your body. You know, you can't control nothing else but just your thoughts. I cannot control overtrading. How many trades? Look, it's very simple. It's not rocket science. If you're overtrading, just stick to 1 or 2 trades. That's it. If you take 1 trade today, you know the problem you're having? I'll tell you exactly the problem you're having. So you're going to take a trade. Let's say you're going to take a trade during pre-London session time. It hurts for you to wait 24 hours because you feel like you're wasting a lot of time. So that whole time from pre-London, mind you, the whole day is going by. You're going through social media. You're watching people make so much money. You know, you're playing this unfair game with yourself where you're kind of wanting to rush the process. So waiting that 24 hours just to come back and do it again with discipline, you can't do that because of everything else you're feeding your mind along the way. So instead of feeding your mind good habits until the next time you're trading pre-London session, you're feeding your mind bad habits, which is making it more difficult for you. But trust me, like once you actually master taking 1 or 2 trades a day, maybe you're going to even take another trade here, let's say during London session time, and then master that waiting aspect, then you start taking back a little bit of control. You know, you have to take, you got to get those reins on especially on money as well. You know, money, it's super hard to control money. Like that's why people are very poor at budgeting their money, and you know, it's very difficult to control money. So it's the same thing in the market. It's like you're controlling a budget. Like how you budget your day-to-day life, it's like you're controlling a budget. You know, so you have to have like very clinical approaches to trading. Because when you're doing this for a living, it wouldn't be as easy for you to erase your mistakes with a salary. Because if you do like over trades and now you got to make back 5%, you're down negative 5%, you got to work so much harder to make back that money. And you know, it's at that point it's not enjoyable because you're not even making money. You're just making back your losses. So you already have to think from a point of view of what if, you know, what if I was already a profitable trader? Put yourself in those shoes right now. Because it's very easy. When I started trading, man, so easy. Load up a $500 account, get a salary at the end of the month, and then replace it like nothing happened. So easy. But you know the thing about money is that happened. It happened. As much as your account has gone from $500 down to $100, for example, and now it's back to $500, you can't erase it. That money is gone. It happened. So, man, discipline. They say only the disciplined are free. One of my favorite marathon runners, Eliud Kipchoge. His quote, he says, "Only the disciplined are free." This is a man who came from the village of Africa and went and ran the Olympics and got Olympic gold medals. You know, he's come all the way from there and has understood the value of discipline. Value of discipline can get you out of anything. Literally. It's much more better to be consistent and disciplined than it is to have talent. Because you can have all the talent in the world, but you won't reach the destination. You know, you're probably gonna have all this talent and then you're gonna throw it away. But someone who's disciplined, they might be moving slower than you, but they will get to that finish line. They will get to the end. It's like the old story about the rabbit and the turtle. Rabbit had all the talent. You know, he was faster than the turtle. He had everything going for him. But what did he do? He decided to slack off. You know, he thought like, oh, this was going to be easy for him. So he decided to take a little nap there in the middle of the race. And then in the end, he woke up, he overslept, and the turtle was winning the race. That's life. Village of Kenya, my bad. Yeah. Village of Kenya. I was trying to say Africa because, you know, we got a lot of people who might not know where Kenya is. So it's easier to just say Africa. Because a lot of people know where Africa is. If you talk to a lot of Americans, when they come to Kenya, they don't say, we've come to Kenya. They usually tell their friends like, hey, we're in Africa. So I was trying to cater for just like a general. But yeah, it's from Kenya. Yeah, I always find that funny. I was sitting on a plane next to an American one. So I was flying to South Africa. and she was talking to somebody. She was talking to somebody and she was telling them that they were in Africa. I'm like, bitch, you're in South Africa. You're not in Africa. Africa is so huge. I'm finally profitable after months. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. I'm from South Africa. Welcome, welcome. Yo, Vic, reset subs on the screen. Oh, nice. Yeah, we hit 40k subs, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's keep growing this community. I want to grow this community to like 100k. Get to 100k. I think we deserve 100k. So welcome, welcome. If it's your first time on the stream, welcome to the best London session stream. You're in good hands, trust me. Just approach this with an open mind, because these concepts I'm trading are not from they're not mainstream. They're not mainstream, at least from what I've seen. It's not mainstream. Everybody's talking about orbs and FEGs and those types of things. But if majority of people are not even successful using all of that, why continue going down that road? Why not build yourself an edge from getting like some kind of a new insight on markets? Some kind of like start building your edge a bit more. Start understanding market from a different perspective. Not from a perspective everybody on social media is looking at the same thing. Because like everything I'm teaching you here, this is all homegrown knowledge. You know, like I had a few mentors who taught me a few things, but the strategy itself, this is all developed by myself. The concepts, the reversal plays, from watching price happen, doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And then start executing. Because even if my mentors were saying one thing, I would still look to see a different perspective. Because at some point, it was not working for me. Like, you know, Raja Banks, for example, pretty popular guy. I tried the method, but it was not working for me. But what worked for me from him, I always get something small from all my mentors. From him, it was clean ranges. I'm like, okay, you know, clean ranges make sense. That makes sense. That's something I can see for myself that actually tends to happen. You know, so now it's just about adding your own sort of like sauce in there too from everything else you learn. Rejection wicks, liquidity grabs. Where do these big moves come out from? Whenever you have a big move like this, can you investigate it and see how you could have caught the move? Looking at the 5-minute time frame, the 1-minute time frame. Oh yeah, this thing's setting up again. Break above 37.50. It's got some room here to move up. 37 pips. But do we have anything else? Let's see on the 1 minute. Possible inverted head and shoulders in there too. You got resistance, you got support. You have potential fake out here. Mini liquidity grab that just happened here as well in the 1 minute. Just took out these lows. So I would say just for a shotgun play, that would also look pretty nice. Candlestick close above here. Next candle re-break the highs. But if you create a little bit more structure, that will add more a confluence to this trade. It's kind of in a breakout too. There's a small little accumulation here. That's about a breakout. It might have its distribution from this point there too as well, where it's breaking right now. Yeah, the small little accumulation here. Let's see, Dune. Could start breaking out. But it needs to get through this resistance here. Be very nice. You can see the liquidity grab better on the 5 minute. But yeah, congratulations to everybody who managed to catch the sell. Appreciate y'all leaving likes too. Let's go. Let's go. Remember, it's Friday. Don't over risk. Don't over trade. What's your strategy? TFX concepts. Support, resistance, accumulation, distribution. Scared money don't make no money. 100K I think you can do easily when more people see the value. I think it will snowball into 1 million. Yeah, I really do hope so. Because if you look at our industry, it takes a lot to get to that level without showing a Bugatti. And that's something that I would love to change. I would love to make it to that level without having manipulated people to putting me at that level. Just first being respected for the value. And that's one thing I can't take away from traders like ICT. You know, he shares so much value and people just follow him for value. But it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to do that. It's much easier to show a car and get like a lot of subs. But we don't do that.
We don't do that here.
Because, yeah, those audiences, they're not loyal. Those audiences are usually fleeting. Because you see right now, the audience we have right now, even if we have like 50,000 people watching, and let's say we have consistent 10K viewers, the 10K viewers, as I mentioned before, are the ones who are growing the channel. It's not going to be the additional 40K. Lost 4.5% today. I'm very disappointed. Oh man, not on a Friday. Candle flip on the daily. Let's see if it gets volume this time. Yeah, daily's still a bit indecisive. It's at 0.4%. Now I'm your daily viewer. Appreciate you. How many pips in between on where your fib, where you manage at 35%? It's not about the pips. It's about the settings on the fib that you put. Because the pips will change, right? Like, look, the fib can be like lower, it can be smaller, or it can be wider. So it's just a 35% level. Come on, fly, Goldie. That's what over trading and over leveraging does. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it doesn't matter how good the strategy is. If you overuse any type of strategy, it'll always end up being a losing strategy. Your edge as a retail trader is your ability to only stick to a few trades a day, a few trades a week. That's your edge. You don't have to be in the market. Because if you look at the way the market is designed, right? This is designed as an instrument to take money from the impatient people's pockets to the patient people's pockets. You know, it's not designed for people who are gonna like, especially if you're day trading and you got lots of scalps and so you're scalping entries, right? Like, let's say you're taking trade from here to here. It's not designed to be over traded. It's only designed for like 1 or 2 good moves a day. Like, that's the most consistent you're going to find, because 90% of the time the market is ranging. It's seeking out liquidity, seeking out to take people out. Because it remains profitable that way. If you think about it like as an independent organism of sorts, it makes more sense for it. The longer you're going to be there, that it's going to consume you. It's going to consume your account. You know, that's why your accounts are bleeding. Is because you're spending way too much time in the market. You know, but if you're going to approach the market like you're robbing a bank, you're just in and out of the bank. Right? You take your trade, you get out. Give it some time to rob the other people. Then you come back in again when it's safe. You take your trade, you get out. And then consistently do that. It really adds up at the end of the day. Like, think about it this way. I only stick maybe 1 or 3 trades a day. But, you know, we're taking about 43 trades already this month. 43 trades. It's a lot of trades. Even if I just took like 2 trades a day, we would at least have between 25 to 30 plus trades. So it is a lot of trading. It's a lot of times to dip your toes in a shark infested water. Because if you were actually jumping into shark infested water, you would be happy to jump in that day and get out alive. Correct? If you survived a winning trade today, and that was equivalent to you jumping into the ocean and swimming from here to here, where there's a potential shark, I bet you top dollar you're not going back in that water. Once you get out on the other end, you're going to be like, yep, that's me. I'm done for the day. Good luck. Tell the other guy, good luck. Why don't we have that approach to markets? Because it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. How many pips per trade do I target for? Usually like 16 pips, but it depends on the setup. You know, we've been catching on stream like 30 pips, 23, 25, 30 pips. But usually I'm looking at the percentage more than the pips. It's like 1% or 2%. It's not about the pips, but if you want to be safe, right? If you want to be safe, 16 pip SL and tight. If you want to be safe and tight, 16 pip SL, 16 pip TP. That's a safe and tight. From here to here, from point A to point B, you can at least have a better probability of catching like a move. But if you're going for more pips, you know, you can still do that too. You can still like put your stop loss to break even and then let the rest run. One or 2% of your capital. Yeah, exactly. So let's say if I have like 50K in the account, I'll risk 1 or 2% of 50K. Even if the account goes down to 40K, I will still risk the same 1 or 2% that is on the initial balance that I deposit, for example. So you're not doing 1 to 2% per where the account is sitting at. But if you want to do like milestones, when you get to 100K, you can now risk 1 or 2% of 100K. You're a good man. The water shark example made me laugh. I certainly would go back in the water. You certainly will not. Any trades yet that you're thinking of? No, you know, it's Friday over here, so I just want to like call it a week. So I'm not taking any trades. It's not a really good trade though. It's called out here though. This sell off, and there was also a buy over here opportunity. But I'm not taking any trades. Just kind of like paper trading here today. Already had a pretty good week. Yeah, pretty decent week here. Why paper trading? Because FOMO doesn't exist. That's only exists in your head, right? It's like I can sit here and watch trades play out without taking them because I have discipline. Like this is already towards the tail end of the week, so you know majority of the work has already been put in. Because you want to start off the week, you're going to start off the week, and that's when you're really looking to see how you can maximize gains. You're not looking to maximize gains at the end of the week. What do you think about Bitcoin? What are best days? The days that I don't over risk or over trade are my best days. Because you know, even if you take a losing day, like I don't believe also in like Monday being the best day or Tuesday being the best day. I think whatever day you follow your rules is a good day. You know, even if you take a losing trade, that can still be a W day as long as you followed your rules. Manage your risk. Because if you manage your risk, your winning trades are going to outshine your losing trades. Right? So that's what you want to focus on. But my best conditions to trade, it's not to do with the days, but to do with rate decisions. So whenever we get like an FOMC event and we start to see volume and direction come in, those are like the best environments to trade. So right now, if you just started trading, this is like the best time to learn how to trade. Because we're about to see some more continuations potentially to the upside here on gold. Hey Subham, thank you for the membership. Welcome. Can you give us your opinion on Elliott wave analysis? No. I don't do that rocket science. Because it's now the hardest to trade. Yeah, you know, also it's like it's not been the best price action since we got the London Open over here. It has been quite difficult. Like the market has been really choppy. It's only starting to open up finally a little bit here. Here as well on the break. Got some nice range to fill. But it hasn't been like the most straightforward days where it's like you come onto the chart and you see it immediately and you take the trade. So it involves a lot of waiting. The 1% thing only works for big accounts. If you're trading with $50, no way you're risking, what's that, dollar you're donating? Yeah, but like, if you look at this, are you planning on trading a $50 account your whole life, sir? Is that what we're doing now? Why are we coming to the market thinking we're going to turn $50 to $1 million? You also have to be somewhat realistic, you know? It's not going to be possible. It's more possible for you to start an account with a $500 account and run that up to $1,000 in the next quarter using proper risk management, and then withdraw those funds and apply for a funding challenge, and then you can compound your account, you know, and at the same time you can compound your account with your 9-to-5 salary. You know, that's way more realistic than thinking you're going to take a $50 account to 100K. So, you know, it's all about building a good habit and a good foundation, because if you start with a good foundation, a good mentality, that's the thing that's going to give you longevity in this game. You know, because the way you're going to trade $50, it might not be the same way you're going to trade 50K. So why not already start treating that $50 like you're planning on trading 50K, and not like you're planning on trading $50 for God knows how long until that account grows, which is most likely not going to grow. So, you know, the whole idea here is you're building yourself like some kind of a good discipline. Because right now you're at a point A and you want to get to a point B, but you already have to be thinking like the guy at point B. You know, that's how good entrepreneurs do it. If you start an entrepreneurial business today, what are you doing? You're looking to see who are the best at the game at what you do. Let's say you're doing restaurant industry. You're looking to see what's the mentality of these people here at point B. How are they thinking so I can already start competing at that level psychologically? And that's what's going to get you from here to here. But if you're still at point A and you're looking at all your buddies at point A, and all your buddies are like taking these account flip challenges and they're doing all this dumb shit, how are you ever going to get to point B? You know, there's a reason why they're up here and not down here, because there's certain things that disciplined, consistent traders do that keep them at that level. And there's certain things that other traders do that keep them on this level. And that's the thing about the market, because it's so repetitive and consistent. If you have bad habits, you're going to keep getting bad results. If you have good habits, you're going to keep getting good results. That's an unfortunate thing about the market. I've had students who've been trading for 5 years. You could do the same thing for even 10, 50 years and it will never work out. Because if the market just doesn't operate that way, then it's not going to work. That's why Einstein says insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Putting in $50, trying to flip it, blowing the account. Oh, maybe this time I'm going to get lucky. You do it again, blow the account. That's insanity. And the thing is, like, you can get away with it to some degree. I've had also stories of people take like, you know, $100 and they've managed to make a lot of money from it. But the problem with this is eventually you're going to give it back. So it's kind of harder to replicate, because what happens is sometimes traders that come into these market environments where it's like very ideal to do something like that. That's what we've been seeing of late with gold moving up since the FOMC and the rate cuts. It's been very ideal for people to get into buys and have their buys play out. But what happens in majority of the time that we're not having those situations? That's typically when they get back to the trenches. But you see, as a new trader, you're not going to know this. You're not going to know that you're just in a very favorable environment until shit hits the fan. Right? Because look, like Powell only does rate decisions maybe once or twice a year. And he also does it like towards the end of the year. So what do you do for 90% of the time then? It's the same thing with like COVID. You know, people invested in certain things in COVID time and price went up and they were like, wow, this is amazing. You know, I invested in Bitcoin, price went up. All right, this time I'm going to put a little bit more in. And then eventually the market goes back to normal. Then you kind of like cycled into that depression of why is it not working anymore? Because you just timed it right. You just got lucky. So you already have to be cynical. Like if you want to protect your money, you already have to be very cynical, move slowly, move correctly. So when I say risk 1 or 2%, I'm saying this because I know you guys are going to be trading 20K accounts, 30K accounts, 50K accounts. I'm not talking to the people trading $50 accounts expecting to get rich quick. I actually don't want those people on this stream because, you know, they give me headache. They give me a lot of headache. They give me headache in my exclusive. When they get into exclusive, they give me a headache. So I don't want that type of community, you know, because those are short-term thinking mindsets that don't go anywhere. Do you trade prop accounts or personal account? Personal account. Literally after saying that. So we can expect 10% average returns per month by following your signals. Is that what your journal shows? Man, just stop trading right now. Just stop trading right now. Go invest in a, what do you call it? Like mutual fund. They'll give you 10% a year. But if shit hits the fan, you might lose a lot more than that. Giving you a skill. I'm providing you tools that you're going to make more than I did. Because it took me much longer to get to this point than it's going to take you to get to this point. You know, you already have a leg up. So it's like you're starting, and if you want to start properly, you're already starting at a very good level. You know, because I started down here. And now I'm at this point, and this is all stuff that I had to figure out along the way. So theoretically, you should be starting up here. So you should be able to even bypass my performance. And you know, risk is discretionary. Some people, they're more risky. I'm quite conservative by nature, but some people are more risky. Some people are going to risk like 5% a trade. I just stick to 1 or 2%. Because when I stick to 1 or 2%, it gives me the ability to take the trades that I need to take without second guessing myself too much. Because you see, the thing about trading is if you can't execute, then you have like a mental block. A mental block. A lot of the time, y'all are having mental blocks. You're moving from 1% and then you say, oh, this is taking too long. Like, I don't like to see this small profit. Let me do 5%. And once you do that 5%, you don't know this, but you're creating a mental block for yourself. So the same trades you would have taken profitable trades on that 1% risk, now you're starting to really second guess yourself because now you're trading like a larger amount. And it's the same reason why when you do like a funded challenge, it's always on a pedestal. So you see you're performing quite nicely and you're like, damn, I'm ready for this funded, right? And when you do it, it's like now you're risking a lot more and it's like there's a lot more pressure on you that you kind of fumble the bag. Not everyone has capital laying around. No one just starts with 10K. Exactly, but you know what you're developing is a skill. Don't worry about the money. The money is gonna come. You know, if you look at a lot of successful people, they all started somewhere. You know, you can't expect to compete with people who are way ahead of you when you're just starting the game. But those same people, they start from somewhere too. You know, so it all comes down to the skill. Because if you are gonna approach life with that mindset, that means you're never gonna get anything done. You know, it's the people I call like people who create problems for solutions. We know those people in our day-to-day lives, correct? Correct? We're gonna tell someone, like a buddy of ours might come to us, or maybe a partner might come to us with a problem, and we give them a solution to the problem, like, hey, listen, I see you're struggling with this, but if you do this, I think that's really gonna help you. But they're like, no, but you know, like, that's so hard. Like, I can't do that because of this and that. Like, we know people like this. And people like this, they really don't go anywhere in life. So if you're already saying that you don't have 10K, right, that means, what are we going to do about that? We have to start making a plan to get you to that point where you're going to have opportunities open up that you can get that 10K. Because it's a lot harder for you to save to 10K if you already don't have 10K and a well-paying income. So it's much better for you to focus on a skill that's a high value skill that can get you to that 10K. And you know, once you get the skill, doors start to open. Doors will start to open. So, you know, just trust the journey. And I assure it's going to work out for you. As long as you don't give up, as long as you want to move correctly, as long as you're optimistic, as long as you believe in yourself, it's going to work out for you, man. Treat that $50 or $100 or $500 account like you're trading 10K. And that's a power manifestation. If you can't do that, then you can't do anything. If you can't believe, then how can you take the next step? Very knowledgeable. How did you get so well-rounded? Just life experience? Yeah, just a lot of humbling. The market did a lot of humbling on me, like it does to a lot of us. It's just all about experience, right? It's just the way you approach certain challenges in life. Like there was one time I was losing so much in trading that I needed to change my approach to the losses, because if I didn't, I could just end up being depressed. You know, mind you, at the time I was still managing my risk. At least I was losing maybe like around 1 to 3% at that time. But you know, it's quite discouraging when you're taking losses, right? It's quite a discouraging thing. So I needed to switch my mindset to something that's more sustainable. So it's like always about, how can I get better, 1% better every single day? You know, like, what can I learn from that loss? What could I have done differently? Is there something else I could have done differently? And when you approach it that way, you kind of like disassociate yourself from problems and associate yourself more with solutions. So I'm a solution-oriented individual. I don't like problems. I only like solutions. So when people come to me with all these problems and it's like, I'm trying to give you a solution, it's kind of frustrating, because I like to move forward. I don't like to, you know, they say misery loves company, and there are people like that. So I don't like those types of people. So that if you already have that mindset, then you're always getting better naturally at everything that you do. And you start approaching life differently. And the universe starts opening up more doors for you, because you're more like putting the work in, you're more optimistic about things, you truly and genuinely want to get better. And that's where it is, right? If you're going to feel a certain way, why not feel good? That's the way I look at it. Because the only thing you can control is your mind. Right now, if you feel shitty, for whatever reason you feel shitty, you can literally change that mood. Or you can try and trick your mind to feel better about the situation. So if you're losing a lot right now, talking to somebody out there who's losing a lot right now in trading, man, change your mindset to, I've lost, but I'm going to get something back from this loss. Like, what can I get back from it? So never let a day go by without you at least trying to get something back from a loss. Because it's only a loss if you don't actually get anything back from it, correct? So if you take a trade and you're like, damn, that was a loss, and then you go and do something else, then it's a loss. But if you journal it, and you got to journal it when it's still fresh, you're going to get some kind of a value out of it. How long did it take you to be profitable? Just about a year. Put some music on. Music changes my mindset for the day and makes me happy. Yes, exactly. You know, you got to put some music on. You just got to kind of like trick your mindset. And just keep moving like that. Because that's the most difficult thing. It's that discouragement. When the motivation dies out, that's where we really struggle. You know, you start struggle. When the motivation dies out, you really struggle. So I like to think about it this, like, if I am let's say a gym coach and someone comes into the gym, and this is somebody who's never trained before in their lives, and they're like, yo, I'm ready right now, I'm ready for this week, I want to give you like 4 days a week, I want to give you 3 days a week. I'll ask the guy, when was the last time you did 4 or 3 workouts in a week? Probably never done that, right? Because it's just full of motivation. So I'd rather tell that guy, hey, listen, give me 1 day a week where you can consistently show up, and we'll build upon that habit. You know, because a lot of the time, you guys are coming in with that 4 days a week. I'm ready for 4 days a week training, 3 days a week training. Man, just start with one trade per day. Give me 1 trade per day consistently for the next month to prove to yourself that you can be disciplined, and we can start building from that. Then we can say, okay, you know, maybe we're going to try 2 trades a day. Because when you start doing 2 trades a day, you got to be a bit more dynamic with your risk. Because if you had a really bad loss, you can't take the second trade. But if you had a good win, you can compound on with a second trade. And, you know, we can start building a solid foundation. There's a reason why people give up so much. They set these really high bars, and then it's like, damn, they get tired and discouraged. But if you set it low, you got to start with your bar low and then work it up. Yeah, but it's been a pleasure, everybody. I hope you all enjoy your weekend. I actually gotta run right now. So thank you for tuning in to the best London session stream, and I will see you all for the London Open next week, Monday. Let's get it, guys. Take care.